Most businesses don't break all at once. They drift. Quietly, incrementally, one small compromise at a time. Most businesses don't fail all at once. They drift. Quietly, incrementally, one small compromise at a time.
Welcome to Built to Carry, the podcast for business owners who have built successful businesses but find themselves carrying more of the weight than they ever expected. I'm Darren Cioffi. I'm a fractional CFO, business coach, entrepreneur, and business owner. For more than 30 years, I worked alongside business owners, helping them understand their numbers, improve profitability, strengthen cash flow, and build businesses that don't depend on them for every decision. Over those 30 years, I've learned something important. Most business problems aren't financial problems. The financial systems are usually just the first place they show up. The real issues are almost always structural. They're hidden in leadership. They're hidden in systems. They're hidden in decision-making. They're hidden in habits that have been repeated for years. Built to Carry is about helping you build a business strong enough to carry growth, carry change, carry challenges, and ultimately carry on without everything resting on your shoulders. Because your business should be built to carry you, not built to crush the owner. Now, let's get to today's episode. Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about why profit doesn't mean cash. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, Darren, I know what profit is. Maybe. But let me ask you a different question. Have you ever looked at your financial statements and seen a profit, then looked at your bank account and wondered where the money went? See, if you're a business owner, chances are you've experienced that at least once. And if you have, you're not alone. In fact, this may be the single most common conversation I've had over the last 30 years. A business owner sits across from me and says, my accountant says I made money. Then they slide their bank statement across the table, and there's no money there. See, the first time it happens, they think somebody made a mistake. The second time it happens, they start questioning themselves. The third time it happens, they start losing sleep. Today, I want to explain why that happens, because understanding this one concept can completely change how you run your business. Now, let's get something straight. The financial statements aren't lying. Your accountant isn't lying. They're simply answering different questions. Profit answers the questions, did the business earn money? Cash answers the question, can the business survive? And those are not the same thing. Let's think about that for a second. A business can be profitable and still run out of cash. A business can be growing and still run out of cash. A business can be successful and still run out of cash. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Because profit is an accounting concept. Cash is reality. See, years ago, I was working with this restaurant owner. Revenue was strong. Dining room was full. Customers were happy. On paper, the business was profitable. But every Friday, payroll was a crisis. Every week, the same conversation. Darren, I don't understand it. We made money. So where is it? Some of it was sitting in inventory. Some of it was sitting in unpaid customer balances. Some of it had already been spent on debt payments. Some of it had gone toward equipment. Some of it had gone toward taxes. The profit existed, the cash didn't. See, that's when I realized most business owners have been taught how to read an income statement, but very few understand how cash actually moves through a business. See, flying taught me something important about fuel. When you're planning a flight, you don't care how much fuel you bought this month. You care how much fuel is in the tank right now. You don't care what the fuel gauge said yesterday. You care what it says today. You don't care how much fuel is coming next week. You care whether you have enough fuel to finish the flight. See, cash works exactly the same way. The business may have earned money. The business may have invoices outstanding. The business may have future opportunities. But if there's no cash in the tank, none of that matters. The airplane doesn't stay in the air because fuel exists somewhere. It stays in the air because fuel exists where it's needed. Business is no different. Now, here's where things get really interesting for everybody. Most owners think growth solves cash flow problems. Often growth makes them worse. Let me explain. You land a big new client. Great. But you need more inventory, more staff, more materials, more payroll, more equipment, more resources. See, most of these expenses happen before you get paid. That's why growing businesses often experience more cash pressure than stable businesses. Growth consumes cash. And if you don't understand that, growth can actually become dangerous. I've watched companies celebrate record sales while quietly moving closer to a cash crisis. Not because growth is bad, because growth requires fuel. See, one of the most dangerous habits I see is what I call managing by checking account, or bank balance accounting, as I call it. See, the owner opens up a bank account, sees the money, feels good, spends the money, then wonders why cash is tight. The problem is the bank account only shows today's reality. It doesn't show next week's payroll. It doesn't show next month's taxes. It doesn't show future obligations. It doesn't show commitments you've already made. See, flying by checking account is like flying an airplane using only the windshield. You can see where you are, but you have no idea what's coming. See, whenever I review a business, I ask 3 questions. Question 1, how much cash do we have? Simple. Question 2, how much cash have we committed? See, this is where people get uncomfortable because committed cash isn't available cash. And question 3, how much cash are we generating? Now, we're looking forward, not backward. Those 3 questions tell me more about a business than almost any financial statement because they tell me whether the business can carry its own weight. Think of profit like the scoreboard of a football game. What does the scoreboard tell you? It tells you who's winning, but it doesn't tell you who's on the injured list. It doesn't tell you whether the team can finish the game. See, cash is different. Cash is oxygen. It's fuel. Cash determines whether you keep playing. I worked with profitable businesses that died because they ran out of cash. I've also worked with businesses that were barely profitable but survived. You know why? Because they managed cash exceptionally well. See, the scoreboard matters, but oxygen matters more. Now, let's talk about something uncomfortable. Many business owners lie to themselves about cash. It's not intentionally, but they do. They count money that isn't collected yet. They assume future sales are going to solve all their current problems. They ignore upcoming obligations. They tell themselves, we'll figure it out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But see, hope is not a cash management strategy. Neither is optimism. Cash requires visibility, discipline, planning, and honesty, especially with yourself. Remember our tree, right? The roots are your mission. The trunk is your structure. Your financial systems are part of the trunk. See, because money is what allows the business to move resources where they're needed. Without financial visibility, the structures weaken. Without cash management, the structure weakens. Without forecasting, the structure weakens. And eventually the owner starts compensating. Injecting personal funds, delaying decisions, avoiding problems, working harder, carrying more. Does that sound familiar? That's because weak financial systems create owner dependency. I had a client years ago who constantly felt stressed about money. Revenue was good, the business was healthy, but he worried every day. So when we started working together, I discovered something. He wasn't managing cash. He was reacting to it. There was no forecast, no reserve target, no planning process. Every decision felt urgent because every decision was being made in the moment. So we built a simple cash management system. Nothing fancy, and you don't have to. You can keep it simple. And within 6 months, something remarkable happened. See, the numbers didn't change dramatically, but his stress did. Because uncertainty creates anxiety. Visibility creates confidence. See, one of the biggest lessons I've learned as a CFO is this. Financial peace rarely comes from making more money. It comes from understanding the money you're already making. Most owners don't need more information. They need better visibility. They need systems. They need structure. And they need to stop confusing profit with cash. Because they're not the same thing, not even close. So here's my challenge for you this week. Ask yourself 3 questions. How much cash do I actually have? How much of that cash is actually committed? And how far into the future can I clearly see? Because businesses don't fail when profit disappears. Businesses fail when cash disappears. Just like airplanes don't fall out of the sky because fuel existed last week. They fall out of the sky because fuel isn't available when it's needed. Cash is the same. Next time we're going to move into the branches. We're going to talk about growth. We're going to talk about why growth exposes weaknesses faster than failure ever will. I'm Darren Cioffi. Thank you for joining me on Built to Carry. And remember, drift is inevitable, collapse is optional, and I'll see you next time.
The bank says pressure, everybody's smiling, but the structure gets lesser. Payroll Friday, can't sleep Thursday night. Everybody needs answers and they're looking left and right. Every problem routes back to the same damn chair. Everybody says they got it till nobody's there. No alarms, no crash, just a slow pull off course. You don't notice drift till the weight gets worse. Built to carry, it doesn't look like danger. Built to carry, feels normal to the owner. One more fix, one more file, one more late night while till the business owns the builder instead of getting stronger. Instead of getting stronger. Cash moving fast, but the margin's getting thin. Growth covering weakness like paint over rusted tin. Meetings about systems, but nobody follows through. Everybody wants clarity, still depends on you. You built the machine, now the machine won't stop, and every small shortcut becomes another crack. Structure, not hustle. Correction, not panic.